Morning, sir.
Morning, sir. Morning.
Good morning, Pillai, Bala.
Good morning. Good morning,
I
sir.
just came from another session. I hope you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not able to hear.
We are able to hear you, but
Yes. You're not able to hear?
yes, doctor, we can hear you.
We can hear
Okay.
you. We can hear you. Yeah.
Let's wait for, it's the time is 10:28. You joined a little early. I will be starting the session at 10:35. Give me some time. Okay, we can wait for others to join. Meanwhile, if someone joins, tell them that we have to wait here for 5 minutes. Okay,
Okay.
be ready for Pillai today. I'm waiting for.
Hello. Okay, now I will hear. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Good morning, all. Am I audible? Hello. Good morning.
Yeah. We're audible. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Pillai. Good morning, Mr. Bala. To all.
Good morning.
So 10:34. Yes, Shashi Kumar. How are you? Sorry, so I'm not able to hear. Sorry, one second.
Yeah, I was on mute. Good morning, doctor. How are you?
Okay.
Right.
That was your mistake. Yeah, I was thinking I'm not connected into this.
Yeah, actually,
Ruben.
initially it was not having a problem. Now it is okay.
Perfect. Very good. So again, Bala's look has changed. The day we have met almost 3 weeks before, Bala is not seems to be like this and again changed.
Yes, doctor.
Okay. I used to see that video most of the time. The video Mr. Midun has shared to me. Feeling very good to see everyone sometimes, not in the, rather than the face-to-face. I mean, this one, online. When I see this video, it feeling really, really happy and good. I'm just waiting for someone has messaged. Who's messaged this? Shashikumar has sent me message. No, Ruben. Ruben has joined, right?
Yes, doctor. Good morning, doctor. Because my
Okay.
laptop has been locked up, I cannot open until now. So
Okay.
I'm using now my mobile to
Okay.
join the session, doctor.
Okay, got it. Very good. So somebody has messaged here. Ruben, good morning, doctor, my core researchers. Yes. So thank you. You have sent me a Teacher's Day wishes as well. Yeah. Thank you, Ruben. So how's everyone's doing? And how's the research progress? The second phase starts. Yes, nobody's talking anything. Shashikumar has sent me some work, right?
Yes, doctor. I would like to
And
share the information.
You'll be doing that presentation next week.
Yes, doctor.
Okay.
But today I want to share some of the information which I got it so that our colleagues can give me some idea.
Very good,
in
very
that
good,
aspect, thought of
very good.
sharing.
Okay, what happened to Ami and Inam? Then yes, Minnie has traveled to Ireland and she has called me and informed me about it. She has been stuck with some work, her education, her daughter educations and all. She'll be joining soon back. Yes, now what we have concluded yet, we are having a research presentation by Pillai in the previous week, and he has done very well. We have given some suggestion for that. And this time he is continuing the research presentation, what he has done the previous week. We could not complete it since many of the people who are absent, and really we need insight and input from your side as well. That's why. So now, Pillai, this platform is open for you. Before that, I want to give some input. Now we are going with our second stage, where we are finalizing our research topic. The second one, we will be going through our research presentation. Then we are also going to conclude and make it up our research proposal. Okay. Ami, good morning, Ami. No, Ami is connecting right now. Good morning, Ami. I was thinking why Ami's screen is like this, yeah? And the rectangular type. Now I understand. You are on work.
Morning, Doc.
Good morning, good morning. How are you doing?
So far, so good, Doc. Sorry, I'm currently at work right now.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Be part of it, okay? Pillai is going to
I
present
will.
it. Are you able to hear right now? No.
Yeah, we are able
Yes,
to
doctor.
hear.
Yes, doctor. Able to hear you.
You can hear me right now, yes? Perfect.
Yes, doctor.
Oh my God. What you heard last, I talked a lot. You don't remember even. Okay. The nutshell of the coming 6 months, Pillai has already presented his first research seminar, and he wanted to continue his research seminar, second one, because at the time only Ami and Ruben was present. There was a lot of question and we have got a lot of insights. I believe others have also gone through the video we have shared too. And today, Shashi Kumar and Bala also joined with. Now, within this 6 month, your 3 research presentation will be over, and you will have to complete your research proposal. And the third one is your research title also will be framed finally. So hope it is clear. Yes, you can hear me right now. There is no issue with.
Yes,
Perfect. Thank you.
doctor.
Okay. So now, yes. Pillai, this platform is open for you. And firstly, please type it to your research title here in the chat box. So Ami, where are you sitting right now? In the vehicle?
Beside the ambulance, Doc.
Okay. That's why you wanted to do your research in the emergency services or something related, yeah?
Yes, indeed, Doc.
Very good, very good. Okay, Pillai has typed his topic here. Global energy transition. Analyzing the impact in oil and gas industries in the Middle East. Okay, this is a topic. Now you can start your presentation, Pillai. Okay, EV battery disposal management for sustainable growth and environmental impact of EV batteries and battery recycling. Shashi Kumar has changed his topic. I feel this topic is somewhat good.
Yes, doctor. I should thank Mr. Pillai and Mr. Bala. We have been talking something about this topics.
Okay,
They gave
okay,
some
okay.
lead. I thought this may be somewhat better.
Okay, you have also added EV into your topic, yeah? Let's see, we can frame it.
Okay,
Give me
sure.
some time for framing
Sure,
the topic
sure,
even.
doctor.
Yes, yes. Yes, Pillai, we can start. Pillai, we are not able to hear anything. Pillai, are you talking? Or are you able to hear others?
There's no voice, doctor.
There is
We
no voice.
cannot hear you, Dr. Pillai. We cannot hear you.
Oh, Pillai disconnected, yeah? Okay, okay. Could not hear a voice. EV battery disposal and sustainable growth and battery EV batteries.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes. You can
Okay.
increase your volume. The
I
other
have
part
it.
is fine.
Yeah. I have increased the volume now. Shall I share my screen?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Are you able to see now?
Yeah, perfect, perfect.
Okay. Good morning, all. Last week, we were discussing about this, the title, Global Energy Transition, and analyzing the impact in oil and gas industry in the Middle East. Last week, we gone through the introduction part. What is energy? What is emission? Climate change, energy transition. What is energy transition? Then the global efforts on sustainable energy and reduced carbon emissions. And I was giving the problem statement why I chose this title and this topic, the importance of the study. Then we were discussing about the literature review, but because of the time limitation, I could not continue with the literature review. Only 2 literature review I was presenting. Then from today onwards, we'll see about other literature reviews. Before going to that, I would like to get the view of my colleagues, Sasi and Mr. Bala, regarding this last week presentation. I hope you might have gone through it. If you have any questions and any doubt, you can ask now, so that it will be very beneficial to me.
Sure, sir.
Any questions on the last presentation?
Yeah, yes. Pillai, I have typed right now a topic in the chat box. Is it matching with your topic? Or you exactly meant by this topic itself, right? The future of oil and gas in the Middle East, challenges and opportunities amidst the global energy transition. You meant by the same, right? Are you able to see my comment? I mean, the chat box.
Let me see that.
ఇప్పుడే 11 మమ్మీ 11:30కి వస్తుంది ఇలా
Silent గా ఉండాలమ్మా.
I will stop sharing the name.
Future of oil and gas.
Yeah. The future of oil and gas in Middle East, challenges and opportunity with the global energy transition. Yes, doctor.
Okay. So you exactly meant by your topic is the introduction of this global energy transition, how this is going to make a lasting impact or a profound impact on the oil and gas industries in the Middle East, particularly for the future oil and gas industry in the Middle East. That's your concept. That's your idea behind it. Yeah.
Yes, doctor. Yes, doctor.
Okay. Please continue.
So, any questions as I asked from my. So I will for the recap, I'll just go through the problem statement. We have seen the energy transition and the global energy transition. Coal was more polluting the fossil fuel compared to oil and gas. Hello. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so now the transition is to avoid climate change and the pollution to the environment, greenhouse gas emission. By owning 59% of the world's oil reserves and 45% of the global gas stock, the Middle East region has always been a key player in the geopolitics of energy. So it is high time for oil and gas sector to remodel their business to adapt for this change. The world is transitioning away from its centuries-long dependence on fossil fuels. And for oil produced in the Middle East region, the global energy transition is a fundamental change in their business model. This is the importance of the study because of the regulatory compliances and global energy transition is going on, and market dynamics interpretation, innovation and technology adaptation to the energy transition. These are all the need for importance of this study. So last week you have discussed about the handbook of energy transition, examining the impact of renewable energy technologies in the sustainable. Sorry, I'm getting some background noise. Hello. Yeah. So examining the impact of renewable energy technologies on the sustainable development in MENA. It was published in 2022. The Middle East energy consumption and potential renewables. From here we will start from today's presentation. There are 15. Last week I was presenting only 10. So then I researched another 5 literature. So I added the 5 literatures also this week. The impact of global energy transition on MENA oil and gas producers 2019. The rise of renewables and energy transition. What adaptation strategy exists for oil companies and oil exporting countries? It was published in 2019. Global energy outlook, the energy transition or energy addition. It was published in 2020. The geopolitics of global energy transition. It was in 2020. Then the last one is applying alternate fuels for the fleets, for the ships, 2023, because major transportation of goods is happening through ships. So the energy consumption, whatever the fuel is being used, how it is going to be transition is going to happen. This book was published in 2023 last year. So all the research papers I have chosen the recent years because the energy transition its importance more developing in the recent years. I'll go back to the third, directly go to the third literature review. The Middle East energy consumption and potential renewable sources. It was published by Cleaner Engineering Technology in 2023. These are the authors. And The dominance of this book talks about the dominance of fossil fuels. In 2021, thermal power accounted for 90% of overall energy consumption in the region, the Middle East region. Natural gas is the dominant fuel source, and its output is expected to increase in the next decade due to global market shifts because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Oil-fired power capacity is expected to reduce by 30% by 2030 because they are retiring the oil-fired generators, and natural gas-fired generators will take over 90% of the energy consumption. These are producing electricity. The renewable energy potential, the Middle East is rich in solar and wind resources. These are the most probable options to meet future energy demands through a regional transmission system. Also, this paper talks about the challenges and policy recommendations. The obstacles to renewable energy growth in the Middle East region are over-reliance on fossil fuels. This hampers the renewable energy progress. Why? Because it is cheaper, as I already discussed in the last presentation also. The fossil fuel in this region, the energy from the fossil fuels are cheaper because they are having the oil reserves and they are producers and exporters. So the fossil fuel, energy from the fossil fuels are cheaper here. So that's the reason it hampers the renewable energy progress. Political instability in this region. We all know that in the Middle East is political instability with respect to many conflicts and wars. And the market risk lead to uncertainty for the investors. The private sector involvement is limited due to concerns over market sustainability and profitability. The policy recommendation discussed by the book is transparent and well-classified data on renewable energy markets are essential to encourage private sector investment. In India, it is already there. Private sector already entered in the renewable energy. Development of non-government organizations for information sharing and research of renewable energy. The future prospects and the key factors. The factors for promoting renewable energy, identification of regional potential and timing for exploitation of renewable sources, market analysis and understanding of operational challenges to mitigate risk. Private sector engagement is crucial for sustainable growth of renewable energy because no one will enter a business whether if it is unprofitable. The profitable business only everybody will start. This government, the rules and the regulations towards renewable energy must be developed so that the private sector will start engaging their investment in the renewable energy. Focus areas of future research from this book is studies on technology, environmental, economic, and political factors, strategies for fostering a competitive renewable energy market in the region. So there is a gap in this research book. There is a possibility to explore more technology and environmental friendly technologies, and it will be economically reasonable also. So that research is still pending, and the strategy for the oil and gas. Energy transition post-pandemic is most recent. This is published by Energies 2022. Authors are Daria Grivkova and Yulia Vilsina. The objective of this book is to analyze energy transition approaches in various countries. The findings are grouped countries into ideological European Union and United States, and pragmatic Saudi Arabia and China. So they have not considered Middle East countries, only Saudi Arabia they have considered. Identified barriers, the technology is a main barrier, and economic, political, as we discussed earlier in the previous paper also. The future direction, policy-driven transitions and focus on technological advances. These are the future direction. This overview, the research focus is on energy analysis in selected countries, not on all Middle East countries. Energy, China, European Union, India, Russia, and Saudi Arabia, USA. Use of foresight methods, trend monitoring, case study, and STEEP for analyzing the barriers. Can anyone tell what is STEEP means? STEEP is social, technical, economic, political, and ecological. This is called a STEEP meaning. So the STEEP, this book talks about STEEP analyzing barriers also. These barriers for social, technical, economic, and political, ecological analysis.
Is it vessel the same terminology, pestle. We read about pestle.
Yes, that's the reason I asked this question. So
Okay.
it was the jumbled. The words are jumbled, but
Words
the
are
same.
jumbled. Yeah.
Yes. Objective: analyze the main approaches to energy transition. Identify national energy priorities and key directions for transformation. As already we discussed, the ideological and pragmatic country. Barriers and challenges in energy transition. Common barriers: technology development and inconsistency in the renewable power. Economic factors: a rapid increase in the rare earth metal prices, reliance on fossil fuels, lack of investment in the renewables, access to advanced technologies as a political tool, dependence on weather regimes for renewables. Key insight of this paper: energy transition involves a qualitative shift, not only in the energy system, but the economy as a whole. As already I was re-insisting, sustainable means it is people, economy, and environment. It should be combined together. Without economy, any country cannot sustain. So the renewable energy should be economically viable. Impacts business sectors and the production patterns and labor markets. Political and technological dimensions of energy transition. The key technologies: the renewable energy technology is crucial for sustainability transition. Technological access is a strategic element in national energy policies. Role of national strategies. Energy transition is the policy driven and involves long-term strategies. Barriers such as wildcards, unpredictable events, for example, may influence the process. See, for example, national strategy. If a government is looking for solar power and it is giving subsidy to the investors, then it is a strategy this country is following, and the people will private investors will start entering into this business. And a mix of biofuel. Biofuel means a mix of methanol in the diesel. India is even leading in this, and because India is famous, India has more fertile lands, and we have biomass available. This from the biomass, the methanol is being produced. This methanol is green methanol. From this methanol, we are already in the process. India mixing methanol with the diesel. This is a strategy, national strategy for the reducing the fossil fuel dependency. Foresight methods used: trend monitoring, case study, barrier analysis to assess national energy trajectories and key obstacles. Those are all the foresight methods used in this book. Next literature was the challenges in the decarbonization of the energy sector. So I think whatever because is yes.
Pille, just for interaction, I would like to ask a question.
Yep.
It's like, what can be the economic impact of this oil depending, resourceful country? In simple answer, what can be? Obviously, they'll be having a long-term vision, strategic vision in order to align with this global transition energy. But what's your comment on this? What is the economic impact particularly?
Yes, doctor. I have mentioned here all the countries. If you future slides, if you go through all the slides, it talks about the strategy 2050.
Okay, then at the time you can explain it. It's fine.
Yes. If you see this slide, just for the questions.
Okay.
2050, the methanol transition, ammonia transition, and hydrogen transition is going to be peak. 2050. So by 2050, the oil dependency will be minimal, and the other energy transition towards other green or less GHG emission fuels will be at peak. So our this Middle East and fossil fuel economic country, they have to plan a strategy for the next 25 years to change the business model so that they can sustain for the future economy.
Perfect. So you are with all evidence, yeah? Today
Yes,
you're going to prove that.
Yes,
it's fine.
doctor.
Continue.
Yes. So challenges in the decarbonization of the energy sector. This book was published in 2020, June 6, 2020, published by Elsevier. The key focus is on carbon emission reduction strategies. Why I have chosen this book is this also talks about reducing the climate change. That is one of the main idea of reducing fossil fuel. So if at all, if the fossil fuel producers, they want to contribute to the climate change, to mitigate the climate change, what strategy they can follow? So that is carbon decarbonization of the energy sector. That's the reason I chose this one. So options for emission reduction so far is generation of secondary energy carriers, end use of energy sectors, and sector interdependencies. Carbon capture and utilization. You might have heard about this because this was the main theme in last year ADIPEC in Abu Dhabi. So negligible impact on carbon dioxide reduction considered costly. This technology is considered costly because energy producing companies only can afford to this technology. What it is whatever carbon dioxide they produce or they emit to the atmosphere while producing oil and gas, that carbon dioxide they have to capture and store it. And you have to reutilize that carbon dioxide for some other purposes. So this is called carbon capture. This is not going to pay back to the company whatever they are going to invest in this technology. Because carbon dioxide, if you capture, this technology is an investment. But the payback is negative. Still, oil producing companies are investing in that in the line to contribute to the climate change and greenhouse emission reduction strategy. So because they will be charged as a carbon price. The nuclear fusion reactors research continues but remains far from commercial use, limited decarbonization potential. Can anybody tell what is nuclear fusion reactors? What nuclear reactor what we have at present? Anybody have any idea? Okay, I'll tell you. Yes, Sasi.
Yeah. Nuclear fusion reactors are basically continuous. It's a chain reaction happens. By this chain reaction, it emits energy. It requires more energy, and part of the energy is getting emitted. That part of the energy which is getting emitted is converted to another form of energy. That is, heat energy is converted to steam energy. From steam, we produce power.
Yeah, this is fusion or fission?
It's a fusion.
FU or FI?
FU.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, please correct me.
Yeah. No problem. Thanks for that. I'll explain what fission and fusion is. Fission is the existing reactors in all the countries, whatever the atomic power we have, is a fission reaction, Fi. Fission is nothing but breaking the larger molecule or larger atom into smaller atoms using neutron. So uranium is an isotope, uranium-235. That atom will be split into multiple smaller atoms using neutron. The target neutron will be targeted to the nucleus of this atom. This will be split into many smaller atoms. So that is called fission, Fi. This is the reactor. It is in practice now. All the nuclear power plant is using this technology, fission technology, Fi. Fusion reactors is nothing but its opposite to fission. Fission is breaking the bigger atom into smaller. Fusion, fusion is from the smaller particle using the colloidal of smaller particle to make it as a bigger particle. So this fusion reaction is happening in naturally, it is happening in sun. The sun, the hydrogen is undergoing fusion reaction, and helium is generated because of the fusion reaction, and a lot of energy. What we are getting energy from sun is from fusion reaction. Fission is man-made reaction. The disadvantages of fission reaction is it will produce huge byproduct of radioactive wastage. The uranium-235 after fission reaction, it is highly radioactive. So disposal of this radioactive material is another problem. So that's the reason fission reaction is as a side effect. But why we have not gone to fusion reactors, even though we have so much benefit of less radioactive material after the fusion reaction is, the fusion reaction needs certain reaction condition, high temperature, high pressure. That's what in the solar surface. In sun surface, It's a high temperature and high pressure. So that's the reason it is naturally occurring. But to create that ambience for this reaction is a challenge. So now the researchers or scientists, they are working on that. Soon it will be in the market as a commercial technology. Then people will be following the fusion reaction. Nuclear power.
Thank you,
Hope,
Mr. Paul.
hope I explained. Hope I explained well. If you have any doubts, you can ask me and stop. Nuclear power, high capital costs make it unattainable for many economies with a limited contribution and expected globally, because all the nuclear power is with governments only. No private sector can afford to go into the nuclear power because of the restriction in usage of radioactive material. And a huge capital is needed. And that's the reason only government can go into the nuclear power. Whereas in other renewable energy, solar and wind and other energy, even private sector, they can set up a plant for generating electricity. Socioeconomic considerations for energy transition, need for socioeconomic research, further exploration of carbon taxes and energy affordability is critical. What do you mean by carbon taxes? Can anybody explain? Carbon taxes is nothing but the fuel price, increasing the fuel price based on the carbon emission.
Pillai, I have a doubt related to carbon tax.
Yes.
I have recently gone through one article and it's mentioning like how much carbon dioxide we are creating by the industry has to pay for the government an equal amount for the something like that. You heard
Yes,
about
doctor.
this?
Yes, doctor.
What,
Here,
what,
the second.
what, yes.
So a viable solution to increase energy prices without causing instability, ensuring both social justice and environmental system. So the fuel prices will be increased. How? Why? The oil refineries, when they if they emit CO2 to the atmosphere, and then they have to pay tax to the government. Contrary to that, if they go for carbon capture technology, they have to invest. So that investment, how they are going to take it back? By increasing the fuel price. So either they have to pay tax to the government if they emit carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, or if they invest in carbon capture technology, that investment they will take back by increasing the fuel price. So soon the electricity price is going to increase and fuel price is going to increase. We have seen, and in UAE also, the electricity tariff from last year to this year, it has increased, and the next 5 years, it is going to double or triple the electricity charges is going to increase. I will show the slides in the upcoming presentation, how the electricity charges is going to increase in different countries. This is the future. The global energy, so have I answered your question, doctor?
Yes.
Yes, doctor. Okay. Global transition goal, achieve clean and affordable energy for all within social and planetary boundaries. So what is planetary boundaries? This is for boundaries between countries. So if you emit CO2 in UAE, it is not going to stay in the UAE atmosphere. It is going to be globally, it is going to be going to affect. So the planetary boundary is only for other transaction, but emissions, it should be a global. Challenges to decarbonization, so environmental sustainability, limited impact of CCU, that is carbon capture and utilization, CCS, carbon capture and storage, and nuclear fission as long-term solutions. So I explained about nuclear fission already. So nuclear fission as a long-term solution because this technology are already proven viable. So this generation of electricity from nuclear fission is as a long-term solution for environmental stability. The necessity of developing scalable and impactful renewable energy solutions, energy security, ensuring a stable and reliable energy supply during the transition. These are all the challenges. The role of nuclear fusion, as I already mentioned, the nuclear fusion remains uncertain due to slow progress in the development, because to create this high pressure and high temperature atmosphere for the fusion reaction, still R&D is going on, research and development is still going. These are the challenges for decarbonization. The economic stability, high capital costs for technologies like nuclear power and renewable infrastructure, balancing the economic burden of transition, particularly for emerging economies. Social aspects, ensuring energy remains affordable amid rising costs due to decarbonization, preventing political instability through measures such as redistributing carbon tax revenue to ensure social fairness. What do you mean by redistributing carbon tax revenue? Because in some countries, the fuel prices is different from different nationalities. For example, UAE being a multinational residence, the energy price for local is different from energy price for the expat. You might have seen in your Tautik. If you go for Tautik in a house registration, if you are expat, if you have to mention that you are expat, then the energy tariff will be different for expat. So it has to be redistributed equal to among all, so that social injustice as well to ensure social fairness. When can oil economies redeemed sustainable? Again, the economy, I'm talking about oil economy, because the oil economy, it depends on how much oil we are selling and how efficiently we explore oil, and these countries' economy depends on oil export. When it will be sustainable. This book was published in 2020. Achievements, notable lead certifications. What do you mean by lead certifications? Leader in energy and environment design. That's called lead certifications. This is UAE and Kuwait. They are in the lead certifications. Corporate sustainability initiatives. Already Emirates, they are entering into green transport, and Qatar gas also they are entering into the green transport. Challenges, the water scarcity. This region, Middle East region, is prone to have water scarcity. However, they are managing by using the fossil fuel economy to convert seawater into potable water. And if this electricity is going, prices are going to be increased, then our water price is also going to be increased. So then there will be a water scarcity. The political instability affecting sustainable development. The focus area in this book is only buildings and construction. So the gap identified from this book is, in this book is not reported on oil and gas industry impacts. So this book only talks about buildings and construction. So I have mentioned leadership in energy and environment. The lead. Key options for carbon emission reduction. The main areas for decarbonization is generation of secondary energy carriers, focus on cleaner alternatives such as renewable energy. The many books are talking about same. The wind, solar, and hydrogen, these are the renewable energy. So far, the technology has developed. End use of energy sectors, improvements in sectors such as transportation, industry, and residential to reduce emissions. Sectors interdependencies, collaborative strategies across energy sectors to maximize energy efficiency and reduce carbon emissions. Why we have to maximize energy efficiency? If energy efficiency is not maximized, you will be wasting fossil fuel for minimum energy utilization. That is again lead to more carbon dioxide emission to the atmosphere. That's the reason we have to focus on maximize efficiency, energy efficiency. That will reduce the carbon emissions. Technological limitations. So all the books they are talking about the limitation is technological limitation. So there is when we talk about limitation, there is opportunity in future for the new technology to emerge for carbon capture utilization. Contribution to the CO2 reduction is minimal. It may even cause emissions when chemicals are reused. This is the drawback of carbon dioxide, carbon capture. If the carbon dioxide capture is reused for producing chemicals, then, for example, wild thinking I'm telling. If the carbon dioxide is used for making beverages like Coke, we all know that these are all carbonated drinks, right? Coke, Pepsi, any carbonated drink if you take, it is pressurized by carbon dioxide. That's the reason when you open the bottle, you are hearing the sound of gas emitting from the bottle. This is carbon dioxide. If this stored carbon dioxide is sold to the beverages industry, then the purpose is gone. The carbon dioxide, whatever we spend to capture and store, that will be ultimately emitted to the atmosphere. So that is a reason this is a limitation in this carbon capture technology. On the namesake, we can capture carbon dioxide, but if you resale this carbon dioxide to beverage industries, the main purpose is not met. Carbon capture and storage, high costs and limited impact make this option less realistic because of the high cost. Nuclear power, as we already discussed, high capital cost and political concerns limits its feasibility, especially in emerging economies. Socio-economic and policy considerations, carbon tax as a key measure. Already we discussed about the carbon tax. The global carbon dioxide tax is seen as one of the most effective tools for driving decarbonization. So it should be global carbon dioxide tax, not only regional or not only for expat. It should be global. Redistribution of tax revenues is essential to maintain affordability and social equity. What do you mean by redistribution of tax revenues? By carbon dioxide tax, the government will be generating revenue. This revenue should be used to encourage renewable energy investors. Then only the purpose is met. So uniting environmental and social goals, achieving a balance between clean and affordable energy, ensuring the transition aligns with both environmental sustainability and social justice to prevent widening inequalities. The long-term vision, this book talks about decarbonization requires policies that address economic disparities and provide pathways for both developed and emerging economies to transition smoothly. Why they are always talking about developed and emerging economic country? Because countries like South African countries or any poor countries, they are least, even the power, electricity is not available in many areas, many countries. They cannot invest in renewable energy, and they cannot afford to the high fuel costs. So we have to support this redistribution of tax revenues to these countries to encourage them to invest in renewable energy, so that it will not affect globally. If they emit carbon dioxide in South Africa by not affording to the renewable energy, globally we are going to get affected. So we will not leave the underdeveloped countries for refraining from using renewable energy. We have to handhold them, and it should be a global development. The next book, the literature review, I took it from Economic Sustainability of Oil Economies. Always I'm talking about economic sustainability because the country cannot withstand, if it is economically stable, to invest in renewable energies. Importance of adaptability in economic sustainability, diversification objectives, post oil price collapse. Because in 2008, there was a recession where oil prices was reducing below $30 per barrel. Again in 2016, there was a second recession where the oil price again collapsed. That trend I will be showing in upcoming slides about the oil prices and changes in oil prices with respect to geopolitical and social effects. Limitations, the lack of environmental consequences assessment. The future recommendation from this book is comprehensive evaluation of climate change impacts. So that should be a comprehensive evaluation, not only social, not only economic, not only technology. It should be a comprehensive evaluation of climate change. Dynamic nature of sustainability. No economy can remain sustainable in a static state. It should be dynamic. The economy should be dynamic. The economies must continuously adapt to the technological advances and changing circumstances. That's why it should be a dynamic. What is sustainable today may not be tomorrow due to unforeseen shocks. Challenges for oil economies. The oil economies, particularly in Gulf Cooperation Council (GCC) countries, face a unique challenge. Decades of dependence of oil have made economic diversification difficult because, as I mentioned already, energy from this fossil fuel is cheaper. So they were least bothered about investing in renewable energy. But there was a progress already. The role of diversification. Diversification as a critical goal. The collapse in oil prices and the changing global energy landscape have driven GCC countries to focus more on diversification. So you might have seen after this COVID, in the COVID-19, there was again collapse in oil prices because of the less demand. India has revived from this economical fall very quickly because we are not depending on oil economy. We depending on our main agriculture and industrialization both. So that's the reason we would revive it very quickly with many startup companies, as our PM used to say, "Make in India." So "Make in India" that helped us to fight back the economic recession due to COVID-19. But some other countries, somewhere the economy purely depending on the fossil fuels, the recovery was very slow. The path dependency and political economic constraints continue to hinder rapid diversification efforts. So here now the fossil fuel oil exporting countries, they started investing, diversifying their investment. We might have seen after this COVID-19 and 2016 recession. They are investing in fertilizers, they are investing in trades, they are investing in tourism, they are investing in other industries rather than depending on fossil fuel. Progress in GCC economies, significant strides have been made in reducing exclusive reliance on oil in terms of GDP composition and export. That's what I was talking about. Efforts to diversify fiscal revenue and labor markets are underway. What is fiscal revenue? Can anybody contribute? Fiscal revenue.
It's a
Fiscal,
part of fiscal policy, right?
Yes, doctor. Yes, exactly. You are right. The
How
fiscal,
the-
yeah,
yes,
fiscal,
continue.
fiscal revenue is nothing but the government taxation and generation of money for the government and how it spent that money. That is called fiscal policy and fiscal revenue. So that the generation of, as we already saw, the carbon tax and other taxes, income tax or sales tax, whatever taxes, money the government is generating, that money has to be spent responsibly to build infrastructure and for the renewable energy to avoid climate change in the future. That's what it talks about. And labor markets. And the fiscal revenue has to be focused on generating labor markets, because this is a fantastic question asked by our doctor last presentation. When we talk about AI and a new renewable energy, what will happen to the employees in this already existing fossil fuel industry as well as in the many transportation industry? What will happen to their future? The answer will be they have to upskill their skills for the changing environment, and the labor market will be shifting from one focus area to other. So we might have seen in the early 70s and 80s or till 90s, the oil and gas industry was the boom. Everyone started using IC engines, and that was everywhere. The fossil fuels were used. So this market was at the boom that time. So that's the reason, if you might have seen the salaries in 80s and 90s of 90s, where the engineers are working in oil and gas field, they were earning the most. Late 90s, there was a shift to IT field, information technology and IT field. So now again IT field, they saw a recession. Again, it will come back. AI technology is going to take over. So there will be always a shift. It will be dynamic. Labor market will be dynamic. Challenges to economic sustainability. Fiscal reforms are necessary to diversify revenue bases and reduce the reliance on oil rents. Oil rent, what do you mean by oil rent? I'll talk about this oil renters theory in the upcoming slides. Oil rents. Shifting from low cost. Why I'm saying this now? Each and every word I read from one book that led to research for another book, so that I can include in my presentation, so that it will be a complete presentation for all. So it is coming. Upcoming slides, you can see about the oil rates. Shifting from low cost, low productivity labor to high wage, high productivity models is a key challenge. This is the challenges for economic sustainability. Adaptation of political institutions. Political institutions must adapt to these economic changes, Developing new fiscal tools and labor markets reforms is critical to the sustainability of Gulf oil economies. The next literature is mitigating climate change in the MENA, shifting to new paradigm. So all these books are only economy, climate change, and economic sustainability, alternate fuels. This is what I have chosen. Hope it is relevant to my study. If you find any irrelevancy or any doubt, any question, you can stop me at any point in time. So MENA's global contribution, MENA represents 5% of global greenhouse gas emission. This is as per 2019 survey. High per capita emissions, 13 tons of carbon dioxide annually being emitted per capita in this region. Why? Because the fuel prices are cheaper. So the responsible use of fuel not seen in this region. Practically, you might have seen one person will be driving a huge car which is consuming more fuel. They will be traveling from one end to another end. A single person will be driving. In this region, you might have seen. So per capita energy emission is more. Gulf states, particularly Qatar, rank as highest emitters per capita globally. Why? Because Qatar is a smaller country and high influential economy. So that's the reason the responsible usage of energy is not seen. Urbanization, and I'm not blaming the country, but this is what the fact is as per this book survey. Urbanization and energy use, urban greenhouse gas emissions in MENA is increased by 30% from 2010 to 2015. Primary renewable energy usage remains low. 0.2% in Algeria, less than 1% in Saudi Arabia. That's what I was telling in the previous class, previous presentation. Saudi Arabia, even though a biggest country and its oil economy, oil export is to the maximum to the world, but their interest in renewable energy, so their energy mix is only less than 0.1% of total energy consumption. This is a fact. So 5.56% in Egypt. Why? Egypt now they underwent recession and their unemployment, their economy is underdeveloping. So they are looking for more renewable energy investments. So 5.56% investment in Egypt, you can see in the renewable energy. In Morocco, it is 8.21% in the Middle East countries. So oil wealthy countries, their interest in renewable energy is less, whereas the developing country, underdeveloping, where the fossil fuel export is not there, their interest in renewable energy is more. Why? Because renewable energy is cheaper in that area compared to oil. Shifting to green energy. Potential of renewable energy. Solar energy, now the cheapest electricity source globally. Growing profitability of solar energy in the Gulf states because the sunlight is available in abundance. So they can cultivate the solar energy in this region. Potential for green energy exports to Europe and Central Asia, where the solar energy is scarce in Europe. So the green energy can be exported to Europe, and these countries can charge more. Because Europe now, they are facing scarcity in gas supply from Russia. So this opportunity for these Middle East countries to invest on solar energy and export that green energy to European countries so that they can get more money from these European countries where they cannot invest in solar energy. Challenges for the transition. By 2050, again, I have at the beginning of my presentation, I always talking about 2050. Every books or every country, even the UAE, having a strategy, 2050 strategy for net zero emission. Yeah, all the countries, they are building their long-term strategy, aiming at 2050 to go for net zero or reducing the emissions. Dependency of fossil fuels should be minimum in 2050. So by 2050, another 25 years, the oil economy will be shifting towards renewable energy. So the countries who are exporting oil should remodel their business. So this is the time, because now if you build a strategy, if you build any technology, if you adapt yourself for the changing or energy transition, you will be in the market after 25 years. So that's the reason it's a high time to think about the remodeling the business. By 2050, global oil demand could be 4 times lower than in 2020. So this line gives the meaning for my title. Fossil fuel trade is expected to decrease by 40% under a new net zero scenario. This book, as per this book, so that's the reason I have chosen this title. Recommendations for MENA, this book, as per this book. Elevating mitigation ambitions, invest in renewable energy infrastructure, urban and remote areas, explore trade agreements for green exports, solar, wind, hydrogen. That's what I was talking about, trade agreements with European countries where you can export green energy. Economic diversification and international engagement. Invest in carbon capture and innovative mitigation strategies. Engage with international organizations to secure climate finance and assistance. Promote a fair energy transition through active participation in international climate diplomacy, COP27, COP28. You might have heard that COP28 was chaired by our Sinus Sultan Al Jaber, is a group CEO. He was chairing this COP28. It was held in UAE. The next literature was changing the energy profile of the GCC states, a review. It was published in 1981. As I mentioned in the previous presentation, this is the only book I selected somewhat 40 years before. You can understand the impact or importance of energy transition, because they were thinking about energy profile, changing energy profile in 1981. So 40 years before itself, they were thinking about this energy profile change. So this book talks about the historical dependence on oil and gas. The GCC states have been traditionally reliant on oil hydrocarbons for economic and energy needs. Rising domestic energy demand, increased energy consumption within the region underscores a need for diversification. Global environmental commitments, motivation for transition, include adherence to global agreements like Paris Agreement in 2015, reducing carbon footprints. So renewable energy potential and ongoing projects in this book they were discussing about, again, this rich solar and wind energy. There are the key projects that time, the large-scale initiatives such as solar parks and wind farms being developed in various GCC countries in 1980 onwards. They started developing the solar parks and wind farms. Diversification efforts. The wind farms, even in India, you might have heard about wind farms in 1980s, late 1980s and early 1990s. Wind farms started in India. Solar, we started in late 2K. Diversification of efforts, introduction of nuclear and exploratory hydrogen projects as a part of broader energy mix. See, this was thought about in 1981, 40 years before they were discussing about nuclear energy and exploratory hydrogen projects. So this is a trend I want to show. The average yearly growth primary energy consumption.
Ami want to ask something. Ami want to ask something. He has raised the hand.
Yeah, sorry, I did not see that. Yes.
Dr. Pillay, with regards, just only a few observations with regards to the some of the inputs you're sharing. I just come up across pertaining to the target of 2050 in terms of from shifting, especially in the automotive industry, that they have now to shift from to an electric vehicle, right? Mostly, especially in the US, GMC, Ford, and Chevrolet already have their kind of transitions of going into an electric vehicle more completely before 2050, as well as with the Ford targeting itself. Now, one of the issues come to my mind is pertaining to the issues of supplying with the semiconductors, chips, how it will be the impact on that one in the part of the global transitions energy, especially in the renewable energy, that there is a crisis right now in terms with the semiconductors, especially in the political region of the between the Taiwan and China, which is the Taiwan of one of the vast majority of supplying in terms of semiconductors chips, and the threat of the war between the China, and same with the South Korea and Japan, Ukraine as well, and the part of the issue of the political warfare right now. How does it affect currently or in the future this kind of crisis right now in terms of the implications into the global energy transitions?
Very good question. Very good question, Amil. Actually, thanks for that question. Actually, I was thinking to talk about the semiconductors. In future, artificial intelligence is going to take over. For artificial intelligence, for Silicon Valley, the semiconductors plays a very crucial role. That's the reason the diversification of investments already started in many countries. If you see Taiwan, as you rightly said, why the laptops and computers are now very cheap from China when compared to other part of the world. That is because there is a trade understanding between Taiwan and China. So Taiwan is known for to have more. Taiwan is having more semiconductor industries. That's the reason we are able to get laptops and computers at very less prices. So now many countries they open their eyes. Even last year, our Indian Prime Minister Mr. Modi has announced a semiconductor industry we need to build in India. In UAE also, last week, if you read, you might have read in the newspapers, our president, UAE president, and the Crown Prince, His Highness Sheikh Khalifa, Sheikh Khalid, he was chairing a meeting with Adna Group CEO, and they were talking about semiconductor industries and talking about AI. So even there will be a huge shift of focus on investment towards semiconductor. Semiconductor will happen all over the world, and towards lithium battery. This is a rare, it's a rare material, rare metal. Lithium batteries are very much needed for the batteries for EV vehicles. There will be a shift. That's the reason the labor markets and diversification of investments will shift towards sustainable economy in future. So these are all the industries where we can generate money in future, this kind of industries. So we have to diversify the money what we are generating from fossil fuel towards this industry so that we can sustain in future. So that is what it is, the crux of the information. Have I answered your question?
Yes. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yes. So energy consumption, the second trend. If you see Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, UAE, the energy consumption metric ton equivalent, we have it has been plotted from year 2000 to 2020. So Saudi Arabia is the biggest country, and the energy consumption also high. Next to UAE, then Kuwait, then Bahrain, other countries follow. Why I have shown this energy consumption? Because the oil export countries, they are consuming more energy. Energy price and subsidies per capita basis. This is in US dollar. Kuwait, oil producing, the major oil producing country. The subsidy for fossil fuel is the most. Then comes to Qatar, as already we discussed. In the Qatar, the gas is more, and their energy price is very less, and subsidy to the citizen is very high, and they are diverting their fiscal income for the energy subsidy. This country, Qatar. Then comes to Iran, Peninsula. These are all. Peninsula is the biggest oil reserve compared to Saudi Arabia, but it's a very poor country, Peninsula, because the technology is not there. Because of the political issues in Peninsula, they are not able to even afford newer technologies. In Uzbekistan, Algeria, Kazakhstan, Argentina, and as Azerbaijan. These are the countries, they are giving fossil fuel subsidies per capita. They is shown in this trend. Why I have shown this trend? Because the more and more subsidy, the less interest in renewable energy. So they have to reduce their subsidy and use that fiscal revenue to invest in renewable energy. They have to increase their power tariff for the citizens so that there will be a responsible consumption of energy in this country. Here, the comparison of electricity price, same. The national residence, foreigners residential, industrial and commercial. So this is what it is. Foreign national and national, there is a difference in this graph, in this trend, they have shown very close, but in actual, it is different. Is Kingdom of Saudi Arabia KSA. This is what it is, 0.02 US dollars, US cents per kilowatt hour. The industrial, the commercial power cost is more. Kuwait, it is same. For industrial, it is further less. They want to encourage the industrial power industrialization. So that's the reason they are giving subsidy to the industries. If you see the trend, are you able to see the trend? So Kuwait in the industrial,
Yes.
industrial power cost is less than commercial, less than residential. Oman, this is the trend, and USA, if you see, the residential is more than industrial and commercial in USA also. They want to industrialize their country to generate more income. That's the reason the domestic consumption, the tariff is very high. So that people will be consuming less energy per capita.
So, Pillai, my question is, as per your perception and observations, what level of investment is being directed to renewable energy by these countries? What you feel is sufficient for a meaningful transition or not?
No, doctor. That's why I was showing the previous slide. We see the primary energy renewable usage in these countries, it remains very low. In Algeria and Saudi Arabia, it is very low.
Yes.
Compared to the US and Europe and India, they are importing oil, and the power tariff for the domestic consumption is high. So they are interested in investing in renewable energy. These countries, they are less interested in investing in renewable energy. Why? Because the economy or the amount, the fiscal revenue generated from fossil fuel is being given as a subsidy to the domestic consumers. So that revenue is diverted towards the domestic consumers. Instead, if you increase the domestic consumer power tariff, this money will be used for investing in renewable. That's what my stand is.
So there is a meaning behind your research scope, right? There is a you can contribute a lot through your work.
Yes, doctor.
Perfect. Yes, please
Thank you.
continue.
Thank you. Economic impact and policy recommendations. So the economic benefits, job creation in renewable sector, as I mentioned earlier, there will be a huge labor market shift is going to happen towards AI, semiconductors industries, and lithium battery industries. There's a huge shift will happen. Reduce the dependency on oil revenues, enhancing economic stability by 2050. A regional and international collaboration, enhancing regional energy strategies and infrastructure, leveraging partnership with international bodies like ARENA. Future outlook and policies, projections for increased renewable uptake, recommended policy changes for sustainable energy transition. The next literature is challenges for sustainable development strategies. I'm not going in detail because we have many times we have talked about sustainable development strategies and oil and gas industries. Just I will rush through because we will be missing other important literatures. Just I will talk about the challenges, the harsh environment exploration and production, workforce regulations aiming to ensure safety, local and global environmental risks, groundwater contamination and climate change. The sustainability issues, environmental protection versus financial stability. Companies often deprioritize sustainability in touch economic conditions. That's what I was talking about in the previous slides. I'll directly go to emerging solution and strategic planning. Technological solution, use AI and artificial intelligence and intelligent control systems to monitor and manage operations, because AI, the intelligence is a billion times better than human, so it can manage many industries in energy efficient way. One good example is if traffic control, if is being controlled by artificial intelligence, there is no need of any signals, traffic signals. So energy spent wasted during traffic signal by stopping the car will be minimized. So a lot of opportunity in the future with respect to AI for managing many systems which is being managed manually now. Some of the traffic signals are automated in developed countries, but still, if AI took over this automation, then there will be huge potential for energy saving. Investment in R&D for sustainable technologies, strategic recommendations, need for mindset and policy shifts towards sustainability in oil and gas companies. So here we talked about oil and gas companies for mindset and policy shifts towards sustainability. Larger companies benefit more from customer relation strategies. Job creation and skills development are key to private sector resilience and during industry downturns. Call to action from this paper is Middle East companies need better awareness and integration of environmental protection policies. Long-term solutions required education and reform within the industry, especially in sustainable practices. In Middle East, we have to have a manpower. Now itself, the expat population is more for this available technology, but future the technology is going to shift, and there should be a huge shift in the labor market. So this Middle East again, it has to invest in new universities and developing the nationals for the technology challenges we are going to face in future. The 11th paper is overview of global energy transition and MENA oil producers. We have already many papers in the previous, we have discussed about this. The global shift focuses on low carbon technology. The MENA dependency already we have talked about 50% of the world's oil and gas reserves. Hydrocarbon dominate the GDP in this area. The fiscal revenues and exports are diverted to subsidy in Kuwait, 90% in Kuwait. The challenges, transition threatens economic stability due to reliance on hydrocarbon revenues. Without reforms, the region risks macroeconomic imbalance and political unrest. This is the warning sign given to these countries. They should reform their fiscal revenue. Otherwise, they are going to face a risk in future, an imbalance and political unrest in the future. Economic diversification, we already talked about heavy reliance on oil rent forces, low productivity and stifles private sector growth. What do you mean by oil rent forces? The same subsidy to the nationals. This is called oil rent. I'm going to talk about oil rentier state theory. This is what the rentier state theory talks about it. Governments rely on oil rent rather than taxation, limiting political participation and economic reform. Whatever revenue generated from oil, they are not in this Middle East. There is no tax, right? The income tax is not there. That's the reason we, from other Asian countries, we are working here. There is no tax. This is not the case in US and Europe. 30% income tax is there. Here, the government economy is not from tax; it is from oil export. So this limits the political participation in economic reform. Historically, diversification efforts are abandoned once oil prices recover. So every time, whenever the oil price drops, there will be a discussion on diversification and other economic fiscal reformation. But again, when the oil prices increases, the interest are not shown as before. So comparison of oil and gas rent in MENA GDPs and how it has changed over time. So here, with various countries, Algeria, Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, and Iraq. Iraq, the major oil producer, again, the oil rent is more percentage of with respect to percentage of GDP. Almost 40% of the GDP in 2013 given for subsidy for the nationals. 40% of GDP is spent on subsidies. It's a very huge amount up to 2014. In 2015, there is a recession up to 2016. That's the reason the subsidies reduced. Not much, up to 30%. Only 10% is reduced in Iraq and other countries also the same. Less than 10% with respect to these countries, Egypt and Bahrain. So oil prices, just to have a comparison, I have mentioned, I have shown the oil prices over a period of time. In 2013, the oil prices were more than $100, where oil and gas economic countries, they were flourishing in this period, and slowly it was dropping. And 2015, 2016, 2017 is a recession period, and the oil prices was minimum, almost about $40 per barrel. So that time the subsidy was cut. The labor productivity. Why I have shown this graph first, and again I have shown this graph. If there is a relation, where there is a subsidy, the labor productivity is less. Labor productivity means the local labor productivity. This is a trend for various countries in Middle East. UAE is shown here. This is the gray color graph. UAE, it is dropping from 1980 because that time the oil exploration was minimum. So the labor productivity was maximum 100% at that time, because they were depending on other trades, pearl and other trades in UAE. When oil economy started giving more revenue, the labor productivity started in negative direction. So it is dropping like this. Now slowly it is picking up with respect to, because of the other diversification with nuclear energy and IT. Similarly for Saudi Arabia, are all oil exporting countries, Iraq, Israel. Israel is this one, brown color. So Israel is picking up. If you see these countries, the top half of this 100%, all these countries where the oil export is not there. They have already diversified their economy towards other industries. So the labor productivity started increasing in this country. Here the oil economy was more in these countries, so the labor productivity was less because they are getting money on free of cost. In many countries, in Qatar, last week I have gone through a paper. They are giving an unemployed youth in Qatar. They are paying around 1,000 Qatari riyal every month. This means people are very reluctant to go for work. So the labor productivity will be less as long as you are getting free money. This is a good example. Path forward, reform programs and opportunities. Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, Kuwait's Development Plan 2035, and Oman's plans focus on diversifying away from hydrocarbons. These are the countries they are now opening their eyes and diversifying their investment in next 5 years and 10 years. Emphasis on SME. SME means small and medium enterprises, development, job creation, and private sector growth. Small and medium, this is what our India has already announced in the previous tenure of our Prime Minister Modi. Make in India, startup companies. The small and medium-sized enterprises that will impact the great generation of revenue and GDP for the country. That will give more job creation and private sector growth. So the GDP will be more dependence on SMEs rather than oil and gas by the government. Challenges: limited SME financing in the region. Only 8% of lending goes to SMEs. Success will depend on improved access to finance, fostering innovation and education investment. Because the education investment is very crucial, because there will be a technology shift in next 20 years. So the universities and education has to be, there should be investment on that. Opportunity in transition. Global energy transition could drive economic reforms by providing an external push towards long-term sustainability. Research gap in this paper is political implications, lack of research on political stability and social unrest if reforms fail. In Egypt, before 5 years, there is a political unrest. You might have gone through the papers in the news. Renewable energy potential, underexplored potential for MENA countries to lead renewable energy markets. The future focus this paper talks about how can rentier state theory adapt to modern energy shifts. Rentier state theory is subsidy to the citizen from the revenue generated. long-term strategies for MENA countries in a low-carbon world. Next paper is the rise of renewables and energy transition. What adaptation strategy exists for oil companies and oil exporting countries? Is more relevant to our title. This was published in 2019 by the Energy Transition paper. Shift in energy landscape, rapid growth of renewable energy technologies like solar and wind. Cost reduction, solar power costs have decreased from 70 cents per kilowatt to as low as 2.5 cents per kilowatt because of the fiscal revenue diversification. Challenges for oil companies, strategic dilemma, focus on hydrocarbons and transition to low carbon assets. Uncertainty about speed and outcome of energy transition complicates decision making. How quickly this energy transition will happen, it was uncertain. But now, based on many research papers, it is almost now it is very clear by 2050, the next 25 years, the energy transition is going to happen. So global energy is supplied by source. This for a better understanding, I have mentioned this graph. So biomass, as I mentioned before, the wood was used, wood and other biomass were used as a fuel in 18th century before industrialization, 1751. So that was biomass was leading the energy mix in all the countries. If you go towards the right, 19th century and 20th century and 21st century, we are in 21st century. Here, the biomass use of biomass was very minimum, and the green one is global energy shift. It is showing like this, and this is taking over. Nuclear, gas. This is oil, and this one is coal. Soon this coal is going to reduce. Oil is also going to reduce. These two is going to take up. Solar, wind, and other form of renewable energy has to. It will be taking over in future. This is in the past. In future there will be shift in the energy mix. Here, this graph shows the percentage annual demand growth. The same in another way of representing the graph. The black one is coal, the green one is oil, the light green is gas. So from the 18th century, the biomass, as I mentioned before, the biomass, the orange color, this was taking over. There is a shift towards this. There is a negative coal. So now already in many countries, they are shifting from coal to gas. So the coal consumption is going to decrease in future. Oil and gas, between oil and gas consumption is going to increase. LNG, gas means LNG, natural gas. In Delhi, in India, the capital of India, Delhi, all the heavy vehicles have been converted into CNG, compressed natural gas, to reduce emission, because Delhi is a city, the pollution was at the peak in early 2K. Now there is a shift to convert all the heavy vehicles to CNG. Now the pollution is less in Delhi, in India. Adaptation strategies for oil companies, business model extensions. Instead of fully shifting to renewables, oil companies are integrating renewable technologies into their portfolios while still maximizing returns from traditional hydrocarbons. For example, total invested about 1.9 billion euros is in renewable energy. Example, the direct energy, this is what they have taken. BP and Shell are expanding into solar and renewable power sectors. You might have heard about these companies, BP, British Petroleum, and Shell. They are very oil and gas exploration technology they have. And even ADNOC, they have shared with Shell. They are exploring, they are famous in oil and gas business. Now they are exploring for solar and renewable energies. They started reinvesting, they are diversifying their revenue. Challenges for oil exporting countries, the revenue dependency. Countries like Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, they depend on oil revenues for about 90% of their fiscal budget. Strategy for transition, invest in renewable energy for free hydrocarbons for export. Focus on long-term economic diversification to reduce reliance on oil. The need on our is diversification is essential for future sustainability oil exporting countries. I'll be finishing, Doctor. I think I have time.
Yes.
Only 2 papers I will be finishing, so that I need not continue. This paper is more relevant to my topic because the global energy outlook 2020, the energy transition or energy addition. Uh, so this paper talks about energy consumption growth, energy addition versus energy transition. What is energy addition? The current energy landscape reflects more of an addition than a true transition, as consumption continues to grow across nearly all energy sources. They are adding new renewable energy instead of transition. So we have to, instead of addition, we have to go for transition. The climate change, fossil fuel usage is a leading driver of climate change. Transitioning to clean energy sources is critical for reducing the global greenhouse gas emissions. Energy transition pathways, reference scenarios, energy consumption continues to grow across oil and gas.
That's fine.
Oil, yes, fine. I'll move to other slides. Projections for 2040. So again, by 2040 and 2050, there will be a definite shift towards the energy transition. If you see this from this graph, the other renewables is going to take over by 2040. See, this is what it is. The yellow trend is showing
Yes.
a major shift towards renewable energy. This is energy mix. Energy mixing is nothing but the energy generation from various resources. The coal, this is the 2018 graph. Coal was playing around 26%, liquids around 32%. So more than 60%, almost 60% from coal and liquids. This is what the scenario in 2018. This is going to shift upside down in future. The natural gas is going to take over, and nuclear and hydropower renewable energy is going to take over in future. That's what this graph shows. Impact of COVID-19 is a major. I already discussed about it. Because of the COVID, there was a drop in demand, and there was a need for diversification of investment. Achieving Paris Agreement target requires stronger policies in carbon capture. This is what the oil price I was talking about previously. In the various decades, the oil price was increasing and decreasing. These are head and shoulder effect. In the stock market, you might have heard about this term, head and shoulder effect. If you see for a longer period, you can see the head and shoulder effect. This is the head, these are the shoulders. This is the head, if I hit, these are the shoulders. This is the head, these are the shoulders. If you see any term, any graph, if you take 5 years, you can see this head and shoulder trend in any trade or any industrial trends. So here there was a drop in oil cuts in 1999. There was a drop here in OPEC. The recession in 2008. There is a drop in 2015. That's what I was showing in the previous slides, because of the oil production quota unchanged. There is a drop in pandemic in 2019 and 2020. So these are all the trend we can see from the oil prices.
Very good.
So I'll go quickly to other slides, because a lot of trends are there. I can share the slides if you want to go in detail. Geopolitics, this was the question asked by Dr. In the last presentation. So that's the reason I put this geopolitics, global energy transition in MENA. So natural gas in the MENA region, the natural gas energy was this much percentage. The coal was less because natural gas availability was more. This is the oil, and other renewable energies are very minimum in this region. The hydrocarbon endowment per capita, this is what it is in this region. The 14th one is geopolitics of the global energy transition in MENA. Why I have included geopolitics for this energy security, because sustainability that includes people, economy, and environment. For economy, the geopolitics plays a very important role for the energy security. The Middle East and North Africa region, MENA region, is at the forefront of global energy transition. The region is characterized by dominance in oil and gas exports, growing energy consumption, vulnerability to climate change. Challenges and opportunities. Challenges: reduced oil revenues and economic instability, stranded assets and reduced influence on global energy markets. Social and political instability. This is the major in this area. Opportunities: diversification of economies and development of renewable industries, investment in renewable energy and energy efficiency. The future oil demand, this is what it is. 2050, the oil demand going to drop. So there is a high, this is a high time to diversification of the revenue in this MENA region.
Okay.
Future-proofing strategy they have to develop. MENA energy transition challenges and opportunities I have mentioned here. Transition away from oil dependency in 1 to 2 decades is essential, very critical. This need for diversification. That is the importance of my topic. That is a need for energy transition away from oil dependency. Limited successful models. MENA states must find unique paths. And the future of MENA economies hinges on navigating the energy transition and geopolitical changes, requiring significant reforms and proactive engagement new energy technologies. The last one, but not least, this is for the ships with the major transportation energy consuming sector. So there is a alternate fuel, adapting alternate fuel to existing ships. Engine retrofit. Already they started retrofitting the engines. At present, the ships are using furnace oil. We call it as F4 fuel oil as a fuel for running this or moving these ships. This is from fossil fuel. This is a low grade oil than the diesel. They are using this oil for fleets. This also they are retrofitting for cleaner fuel because the emission from these ships are huge, and they are also retrofitting their engines. This is a 2013, 2023. This paper was published. The technology focuses on methanol retrofits. Why methanol? Methanol is from agriculture product. Methanol, green methanol, and ammonia. Ammonia is a green ammonia retrofits. Already is going on. In 2015 already they started. By 2050, up to 20% of the global fleet may still run on fossil fuels. Only 20%. Remaining all will be retrofitted and converted into renewable energy. So decarbonization targets and IMO and EU and European Union driving retrofitting efforts. IMO means International Maritime Organization. They are targeting this is a need for retrofitting the engines. Technology readiness, methanol retrofits already available. The TRL is nothing but technology readiness level is 4 to 5. That is mature technology is already available for methanol retrofits. Ammonia retrofits, the technology readiness level is only 3 because of handling the ammonia, because ammonia is a toxic gas. When it is released and any leak happens, it is toxic to the people who are nearby. So that's why it is there is a struggle in using ammonia as a fuel. Economic considerations and the retrofit costs and fuel expenses remains high because unless there is a regulatory measures, they have to go. But this is economically it should be viable. Otherwise, the transportation through ships will be very huge cost and the goods price will go up. The market drivers include carbon pricing and regulatory measures like European Union and emission trading schemes, ETS. This is what the graph, the TR technology readiness level, investment readiness level, and community readiness level. Community, what is community?
I was thinking what Pillai will present for the next time.
Yes, doctor.
I was thinking myself what Pillai will present for the next time, which means it is completely a lot of informations. So I don't know how you got this much information, and please share this in our WhatsApp group. Okay. And my concern is, others will feel, okay, this much slide we have to present in one session. Yeah. You have, thank to God that you have that much energy, Pillai, to complete this much portions. Yeah. If I am in your position, I would have completed and wind up it. Because, in the sense like energy is required. Yeah. Energy is required. You're talking about oil and gas industry, energy sector. You are having the energy as well. I appreciate it anyway. So can I know? I have a lot of questions to ask. I will be asking in the next class. And one more thing, your topics. What I understand that we can go with the final topic this itself. There is no need to think much, and you have a lot of information. You have concluded it. The work that you have done, it is very visible. You have done a great effort in your work, and I want some work, some PPT for the last. Your second. It is your second presentation or first presentation? How to consider?
You can consider as a first presentation, doctor, because
First
I have not
presentation.
completed. Yes.
And I will be telling you what should be the next one. Okay. So as of now, the informations are your slides are visually appealing, and there are a number of things it's included. And you are into the track with a lot of things. We could see that how much effort you have put into that. So through this presentation, what I meant is the research gap primarily. You reached into the research gap, and what exactly you have presented in different aspects, impacts of global energy policies, adaptation strategy you have mentioned in that, economic consequences, some of the geographical impact, technological innovations, investment. What are the challenges and trends and patterns, sustainability impacts also you mentioned a number of times. So finally, how these are going for the long-term visions of the country, which is this, since it's an oil-dependent country, how this is going to be. This topic is having the greater relevance, and you can go ahead with that. And I believe next presentation will be your second presentation, but we are giving a break for you. Meanwhile, you can work on your more on the research area. You can at least prepare some of the literature review chapter even. You can start with that, no problem. Or a detailed content analysis you can share with us. Okay, something different you can present for the next time. You can think on it. You can creatively bring that such informations. And I believe next presentation will be Shashi Kumar. Shashi Kumar, let me get a time to review your work anyway. You can continue with the same presentation anyway. I will be giving the feedback for that. Shashi Kumar.
Doctor, you have few minutes of your time.
Yeah, sure.
I think now prayer has started. 1 minute, doctor.
Yeah.
Papa sound and
So, doctor,
Yeah.
I will not take much of your time because already time is over.
Yeah.
I would like to share what I have done,
voice,
what is the
voice.
approach I have done to select the topic. Is it okay,
Okay,
doctor?
okay.
Yeah.
No problem, yes.
Yeah, I'll just share my screen.
Papa,
Yeah.
your voices, you.
Meanwhile, Pillai, I really appreciate your hard work.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Obviously, this is a hard work, yeah, because
Thank you.
slide itself shows a lot of content. And if we didn't
Okay,
prepare ourselves, we are taking from one place to here, we cannot present it. Each graphs you are explaining, each
got it.
things you are
Entire screen.
explaining, there are a lot of terminology we are not aware about it. Yeah, we got a lot of insight from your presentation, no doubt. We'll be continuing the same the next time. Okay, Shashi Kumar, you can brief
Okay.
it.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, EV battery. Perfect. This is topics. Great.
Doctor, actually, to be very frank, I've been changing my topics based on the information availability and the things what is happening actually.
And
So
yes, continue.
maybe if I'm wrong, you can please correct, or our
Very
team
sure,
can also give a suggestion for that.
Very sure.
Actually,
So-
yes, doctor.
This is the way we have to prepare. From your desktop, we could see there are something you have added: AI, EV battery, green H2, and Pillai's presentations are there.
Yes,
And
doctor.
thesis topics are there, which means we are working on it, towards it. Okay. Anything needed, we can also suggest for the changes. You can just share, please.
Doctor, I have shared my Excel sheet. Are you able to see my screen? See
No,
my
I'm
Excel
not able to. I'm not able to see your Excel
Oh,
sheet.
sorry. I open.
Not able to see.
Are you able to see, doctor? No. Excel
Yeah.
sheet?
Yes. Topic in my mind.
Yes, doctor. Actually, to be very frank, 2-3 days before I changed my mind after while we discussed with Mr. Pilla and Mr. Bala.
No, it will keep changing. It will keep
Yes,
changing.
doctor.
No worries, because we didn't finalize. That's why we have 6 month time period.
Yes, doctor.
No worries
Actually,
on it.
my first one was to do energy optimization in oil and gas industry. That was my first plan,
Okay.
which I felt it is more of technical information. And at the end, I thought I could not give any solution right now. So based
Perfect.
on the information available, it is all developing one, which actually I could not give any possible result. That's why I thought I should think about another topic.
Okay.
So my another topic was green hydrogen, a substitute to fossil fuel,
Okay.
or for the sustainable growth. So for this particular green hydrogen, I had a lot of material. I collected a lot of material which I got it. Maybe I almost freezed my topic to go with this one actually. So
Okay,
even this
okay.
green hydrogen, the thing was the collection of data and the collection of data and collection and hypothesis I can tell. But even then, even there, I could not give any possible solution. I can say what is happening in the world, how it is going to happen, and what are the developments happening. In that aspect only, I can
Okay.
give the
Shashi Kumar, can you do one thing? You can share this Excel sheet to me, and
Yes.
I can understand how you reached into why you have considered what is the important elements and all. And I believe I can have a call with you in this
Okay,
weekdays.
okay,
Yeah.
done. Sure, sure, done.
Papa.
Yeah, yeah, yes, go on, please.
Lastly, I felt EV battery disposal management seems to be a more attractive one, and it's a partly a new topic for me also. If I do some research, I'm sure I can give some fruitful
Okay.
information.
We will be looking into EV, you can
sir.
just choose it. EV, we can
Sure.
choose it. We'll be looking into disposal management or whether should we give disposal management as a very important highlight, or EV is a very good one, no doubt. We can consider disposal management or any other things we can add it or not. Okay,
Okay.
with this.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the way we can develop our research topic. Very good, Shashi Kumar, no doubt. I
Yes,
can make
doctor.
a call with you. Okay, anyway, I
Sure,
want to
doctor.
talk to you.
Okay, doctor.
Perfect.
Sure, doctor. Sure.
So,
I'll prepare
okay.
and come back to you.
Okay.
I would say,
It's
like to say, Mr. Pillai presentation was very much fantastic.
really.
We will try to do as Mr. Pillai was doing. It's really
Yes.
fantastic, actually.
Very good, very good.
We'll catch it up.
Yeah, question answering session is still pending, and I believe Bala and Shashi Kumar will come up with a lot of questions, and other people also will come up with the questions for the next week. Shashi Kumar, present your topic, okay?
Thank
I
you.
think my daughter came here for the
Sure.
indication that the red signal,
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you,
is
doctor.
done with. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you, Doctor. Bye.
Thank you all.